It's Mother's Day. It's Sunday, May the 8th of 2022, and we're just outside the Ryman on John Lewis Boulevard in Nashville, Tennessee. And we're gonna learn a little about the history of the blues with Curtis, between Jimmy Rogers and
we'll do
Hank
some Jimmy Rogers and Hank Williams.
Awesome.
Okay, so country music in the 20s was considered illegitimate. Hillbilly music wasn't recorded by any major label until Ralph Peer was looking for hillbilly acts. And that's when he discovered Jimmy Rogers, the blue yodel in the Carter family. So Jimmy was a brakeman on the railroad in Meridian, Mississippi. And he learned a lot of these sassy, risque lyrics from working with some of the black workers who kind of sung some blues songs. And he was the first hillbilly act to be recorded. Now his blues were a little risque, so I'll do one of his called Long Tall Mama Blues. And it was amazing he got away with the risque lyrics in the 20s because this country was very conservative back then. So here's the song. She's long, she's tall, she's 6 feet from the ground. She's long, she's tall, she's 6 feet from the ground. Woo-woo. She's tailor-made, she ain't no hand-me-down. You're lady, oh lady. Every time I see you, woman, emphasize woman, you're always on the street. Every time I see you, you're always on the street. You hang out on the corner like a police on his beat. You're lady, oh lady. That gets worse. Won't you tell me, mama, where you stayed last night? Tell me, mama, where you stayed last night. That your hair's all tangled and your clothes don't fit you right. He said the worst for last. If you don't want me, mama, you sure don't have to stall. Lord, Lord, if you don't want me, mama, you sure don't have to stall. Cause I can get more women than a passenger train can haul. You're lady, oh lady. That's a little taste of Jimmy Rogers. Now Hank, so Jimmy had lines like, I got a little mama, got a long tall mama too. Ain't gonna tell my little mama what the long tall mama can do. But Hank never used those kind of lyrics. He always used like, oh, poor pitiful me, like, no matter how I struggle and strive, I never get out of this world alive. But everybody's lonesome for somebody else, nobody's lonesome for me. When the time rolls around for me to lay down and die, I bet I'll have to go and hire someone to cry. So that was typical Hank blues. Now I'll do one of his blues where he uses the famous falsetto that he used the black falsetto and multiplied it like 10 times higher. This is called Long Gone Lonesome Blues. You notice the colorful, comical lyrics, but it's the blues, like old pitiful me. I went down to the river, watched the fish swim by. When I got to the river, so lonesome I wanted to die, oh Lord. And then I jumped in the river, but the doggone river was dry. Cause she's long gone now, I'm long lonesome blues. Had me a woman, she wouldn't be true. Made me for my money and she made me blue. A man needs a woman that he can lean on, but my leaning post left me and gone. She's long gone now, I'm long lonesome blues. Here's how he ends it. I'm gonna find me a river, one that's cold as ice. And when I find me that river, Lord, I'm gonna pay the price. Oh Lord, I'm going down in it 3 times. Lord, I'm only coming up twice. Cause she's long gone now, I'm long lonesome blues. Now here's a song, I got a little more history, that took country music to the entire 48 states back then. And a young Tony Bennett recorded it. He didn't want to record it. Hank had a hit with a song called Cold, Cold Heart. Not to be mistaken with Your Cheating Heart. That was big also. And Mitch Miller was pitching it to Tony Bennett. He said, Mitch, I don't want to do a hillbilly song. No, I don't want to do it. He recorded it, became his first hit. And that took country music to the masses. Hank Williams, that was 1951, at the end of the year, he grossed $86,000 royalty. Because Tony, when Hank had the hit, it didn't gross as much because it stayed pretty much in the southern region.
Local.
So after that, all the pop singers like Perry Como, Bing Crosby, Teresa Burrows started requesting, "Hey, good looking, jambalaya, and you're cheating hard." So here's the song, and I'll give you a story behind that song. It's called Cold, Cold Heart. Hank was from Montgomery, Alabama. He loved to hunt and fish, and he preferred to stay in that neck of the wood and play locally. But his wife, very aggressive lady, dragged him kicking and screaming to Nashville, and the rest is history. But they couldn't get along with each other without each other. So a lot of his heartbreak song was really about Archer, his relationship. So Archer was in the hospital for some minor deal, and little Hank Jr., 3 years old, and her daughter, 6-year-old, from a previous marriage, and the nanny drove him there. And he bought Archer a fur coat because he knew she wanted one, but she completely ignored him. He didn't even exist. So as they were going home, the nanny said, "Well, how was Miss Williams, Hank?" He said, "I never met a woman with such a cold, cold heart." So here's the song. It describes his relationship with Archer. "I tried so hard, my dear, to show that you're my every dream. Yet you're afraid each thing I do is just some evil scheme. A memory from your lonesome past keeps us so far apart. Why can't I free your doubtful mind and melt your cold, cold heart? Another love before my time made your heart sad and blue. And so my heart is paying now for things I didn't do. In anger, unkind words are said that make the teardrops start. Why can't I free your doubtful mind and melt your cold, cold heart? There was a time when I believed that you belonged to me, but now I know your heart is shackled to a memory. The more I learn to care for you, the more we drift apart. Why can't I free your doubtful mind and melt your cold, cold heart?" So that was the song that did it. Took country music to the nation, and it became more fashionable, and it's kind of evolved to what it is today, different. So it evolved.
The commonality between Jimmie Rodgers dying of tuberculosis as a young man and Hank drinking himself to death, there's a...
It has another similarity.
Yeah.
Each of their careers last 6 years.
Yes.
6 years each. And so I read that maybe was a blessing to Hank and maybe Jimmy, because every artist kind of reaches a point where they get old.
Yep.
But they never saw Hank at his worst. So even when he was sobered up, he could still do great concerts.
If you had one, what is your personal favorite song to play? What is your go-to? You're on the couch. What chords do you reach to, and what song comes out? What song do you think you played the most?
Well, Jambalaya is what I played the most. It's not but I'll do it because everybody loves that. It's a universal song.
Absolutely.
China, Japan, even someone from Russia, a guy called him he's the Russian music man. They recognize this song. And it's just 2 chords. Goodbye, Joe, we got to go, the old mile. We got to go, hold the road down the bayou. My Yvonne, the sweetest one, the old mile. Son of a gun, we'll have a big fun on the bayou. Jambalaya, crawfish pie, filet gumbo. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna see my share of meals. Gonna pick guitar, milk through jar, and the gale. Son of a gun, we'll have a big fun on the bayou. Thibodeau, Mountain No, the place is buzzing. That's 2 cities in Louisiana. Ken folks come to see me fine by the dozen. Dress in style, go home wild, we old mile. Son of a gun, we'll have a big fun on the bayou. Hey, jambalaya, crawfish pie, filet gumbo. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna see my share of meals. Gonna pick a guitar, fill through a jar, and the gale. Son of a gun, we'll have a big fun on the bayou. Now, I grew up in Louisiana on jambalaya, crawfish, and gumbo. My mom was 100% Cajun. I guess her ancestors migrated from Canada, French Canadian, and so her side of the family spoke this broken French. They call it Creole. So this is how I heard them do it, but it's the way I do it is probably broken Creole. Oh, wajo, wapaki, rio maro, wapaki, lapano, espan, on the bow, on the door, we go mine. Son of a gun, we'll have a big fun on the bayou.
Thank you. That's
Go
awesome.
on forever. I got 600 songs.
Well, you give me one gospel. And that's,
Oh yes, now this
it's a
is
Sunday gospel.
Yeah, so I do the old time country gospel, which is a little different because I sing in the church choir, but it's sharps and flats, and they're great hymns. But they were mostly story, like 30 Pieces of Silver, but Judas's betrayal of Jesus, or the prodigal son. The most popular one right now is called From Jerusalem to Jericho. This is about the story of the Good Samaritan, who were enemies with the Jewish people. They conflicted. And that road from Jerusalem to Jericho, my wife and I, we traveled and we went to the Holy Land. It was a dangerous road back then. A lot of people were robbed, beaten, and stole everything, left for dead. And Jesus was talking about, who is your neighbor? And some guy said, well, who is my neighbor? And he said, told the story about the Good Samaritan. There was a Samaritan who came to the aid of this Jewish person who was beaten and robbed. All the Jewish people, even the priests, walked by. But it was a Samaritan who saved him. So that supports the gospel scripture. Love God with all your heart, soul, and mind and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. So here's the song. From Jerusalem to Jericho, along that lonely road, a certain man was hit a boat and robbed of all his load. They stripped him and they beat him, and they left him there for dead. Who was it then that came along and made this aching head? Tell me who, tell me who, tell me who was his neighbor, proud and true. From Jerusalem to Jericho, we're traveling every day, and many are the fallen ones lie along the way. From Jerusalem to Jericho, a certain priest passed by. He heard the poor man calling, but he did not heed his cry. He drew his robes about him and quickly walked away. Who was it then that came along and ministered that day? Tell me who, tell me who, tell me who was his neighbor, kind and true. From Jerusalem to Jericho, we're traveling every day, and many are the fallen ones lie along the way. From Jerusalem to Jericho, the wounded man did lay. Along came then a Samaritan who was despised, they say. He ministered unto the man, then he took him in. He paid his fare and told the host to take good care of him. Tell me who, tell me who, tell me who was his neighbor, kind and true. From Jerusalem to Jericho, traveling every day, and many are the fallen ones lie along the way. Last verse. From Jerusalem to Jericho, traveling every day, and many are the fallen ones that lie along the way. They seem despised, rejected, but no matter what they did, when everyone takes them out, Jesus takes them in. Tell me who, tell me who, tell me who was his neighbor, kind and true. From Jerusalem to Jericho, traveling every day, and many are the fallen ones that lie along the way. Listen to Jericho.
How do you retain all these 600 songs?
My gift is if I hear a song, and I can learn it in almost a New York minute, I kind of analyze the song. This is how I like the first chapter of the song, and the
Got it.
middle part, and the end. Then there's some songs I have to listen to over and over. In fact, once the Johnny Cash did a song called Belshazzar about the Babylonian king. When they captured the Jewish nation, they were having a big part in that blood, the hand writing on the wall, but the blood, that Rhodian blood. There's a lot of words, so it took me a while. So I was driving my wife and a friend, my wife was from Vietnam, to San Jose to go visit some of the Vietnamese merchants there. And they were in the back seat because it took like 2.5 hours. I listened to that song the entire 2.5 hours. So if I get a song that's challenging, or Marty Robbins, El Paso,
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll just listen to it forever. But most of the songs I can learn, the short 3 verses, I can learn pretty quickly. And I'm always listening to music, whether I'm driving down the highway or just doing work. When I work for a big insurance company, sometimes I'm relaxing, not at the office, but working on reports. Music is always, and I'm focused on lyrics, not the melody.
Sure.
So that's my gift. Some of the great pickers in Fresno, I mean, they can play up and down the banjo, the mandolin, but they can't memorize lyrics.
Retention isn't there.
They couldn't even remember jambalaya. They have to read it. Good jambalaya, crawfish, you know. So the memorization of lyrics, because I throw myself into the song. I totally
Take on the character.
I totally live the song, so I kind of have to become an actor.
As much as I want to hear out in the West Texas town of El Paso, I fell in love with a Mexican girl. What about seeing it Sunday? Do you want to close it with Mama Tried?
Oh, yes. Okay,
Let's do it on Mother's Day.
The artists that I cover, and if you want to know more about my music, go to Curtis Alexander Music Demo.
Will do.
And it tells you what I do, like churches, nursing home. And then there's a concert I did in Weiser, Idaho. Unexpectedly, I was there with the Fresno Old Time Fiddlers. That's why they have the national championship. And they were observing me singing to all the fans who were out there to watch the fiddle competition. So I did the closing act. So that's on that video, that YouTube. It's Curtis Alexander Music Demo.
I'll check it out.
Yeah. Now let's see. What's the question you want to fit?
Mama Tried on Mother's
Mama
Day.
Tried. Okay, of all the artists, okay, one more quick thing. I do Jimmy Rogers, Ernest Tubb, Hank Williams Sr., Lefty Frizzell, Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, Buck Owens, and Willie Nelson. But of all the artists, Merle Haggard, Hank's music impacts people more than anybody.
Yeah.
But Merle is the most talented of them all. He could play lead guitar, fiddle, and he could write songs and he could sing. So
would you do you know Sing Me Back Home as well?
Yeah.
If you do Mama Tried Sing Me Back Home, my hair on my arms won't stand any taller.
I'll do both if you want.
Well, please.
Got nothing wrong with
And
it.
that's
So, I won't do the Merle Haggard story, but he was a wayward kid and his mom supported him so much. First thing I remember knowing was a lonesome whistle blowing and the youngest dream of going up to ride on a freight train leaving town, not knowing where I'm bound, and no one can change my mind but Mama tried. One and only rebel child from a family meek and mild, my mama seemed to know what lay in store. In spite of all my Sunday learning, hard to bad I kept on turning till Mama couldn't hold anymore. I turned 21 in prison, doing life without parole. No one could steer me right, but Mama tried, Mama tried, Mama tried to raise me better, but her pleading I denied. That leaves only me to blame, 'cause Mama tried. Dear old Daddy, rest his soul, left my mom a heavy load. She tried so very hard to fill his shoes, working hours without rest, wanted me to have the best. She tried to raise me right, but I refused. And I turned 21 in prison, doing life without parole. No one could steer me right, but Mama tried, Mama tried, Mama tried to raise me better, but I'm bleeding I denied. That leaves only me to blame, 'cause Mama tried. That leaves only me to blame, 'cause Mama tried.
And legend has it he wrote that as a 21-year-old in San Quentin.
Oh, yes.
And Johnny Cash came and performed and sort of
Changed his life
that's
because
it.
he was going nowhere.
Yeah.
First week in prison, I think he was making bootleg liquor
That's
and
right.
put him in the hole, and he thought Johnny Cash was going to be booed off this program because they had other acts performers.
Yeah.
And when it was over, everybody was talking about Johnny Cash.
Absolutely.
Okay, Sing Me Back Home.
Can you slow it down a little?
Mama tried.
No. Sing Me Back Home, like more gospel-y.
Let's see. I'll give it a shot.
Give it a
This
shot.
doesn't sound good.
Thanks, sir.
The warden led a prisoner down the hallway. But take two, sorry.
Yeah.
The warden led a prisoner down the hallway to his doom. And I stood up to say goodbye like all the rest. And I heard him tell the warden just before he reached my cell, let my guitar playing friend do my request. Let him sing me back home the song I used to hear. Make my old memories come alive and take me away and turn back the year. Sing me back home before I die. I recall last Sunday morning, a choir from off the street came in to sing a few old gospel songs. And I heard him tell the singers, there's a song my mama sang. Could I hear it once before you move along? Won't you sing me back home the song I used to hear? Make my old memories come alive and take me away and turn back the year. Sing me back home before I die. Sing me back home before I die.
Thank you so much, Curtis.
Sorry, I stumbled on a couple
No,
on the second
thank you
verse.
so much.
Oh, my pleasure.